Um, 30-meter telescope contested case. The evidentiary portion of the contested case concluded on March 2nd. The next step is the submittals of findings of facts and conclusions of laws by all the parties, and the deadline is May 30th. All the parties have until June 13th to submit their responses to the submittals, after which the hearing officer then submits her findings of facts and conclusions of law. Once she submits that, they have 21 days. The parties have 21 days in which to submit their comments on the hearing officer's report. And we have another 21 days in which you can respond to the comments submitted by the parties. Once those are following the 42 days with comments and responses, the BLNR may hold a meeting to hear oral arguments, or they can just make a decision whether to grant a permit. The Flores versus the Board of Land and Natural Resources appeal of the request for a contested case for the TMT sublease agreement. The state has filed with the Intermediate Court of Appeals following the January decision by Judge Nakamura that vacated the Board of Land and Natural Resources consent to sublease between the University of Hawaii and the TMT International Observatory. We have not yet heard back from the ICA. In late April, the Department of Transportation repaved the road fronting the Visitor Information Station and has applied temporary road striping. It is anticipated that the county, and we're hoping that the county will install sinusoidal speed bumps and then to apply permanent striping on the road. The DOT has informed Mauna Kea Support Services that they believe this is the first time that road has been paved in over 30 years. Updates on summit activity and projects. Gemini Telescope came to the office seeking advice on adding a safety measure to their project on fixing their dome shutter repair project. Gemini realized in reviewing the steps of implementing their project activities that the person who has to do the repair would have to be tethered to the outside of the dome, and he would be at an angle. And so they felt that this was a safety concern. So they requested to install these stool-like platforms. They're about 3 feet by 4 feet that would be installed next to existing stairways on the dome. So when you see it from the ground, you would barely be able to see these. So we felt that this was a necessary safety precaution, and we submitted the request as part of Gemini's overall request to Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands, and they reviewed it and they granted a site plan approval. In April, there was a failure in the mechanism that lifts the windscreens for the Subaru telescope dome opening, and Subaru doesn't know what caused this particular failure in the mechanism, but it does require them to remove 3 of the windshields, one of which is in a tenuous position, to remove those 3 windshields and store them outside of their dome, because there's no place within their dome facility to store these panels of the windshield, because they're about 30 feet long and 6 feet wide. So they do need to store them outside their dome enclosure facilities. It'll be right next to the building, and it's a temporary storage until they can determine what caused the failure and determine how they're going to fix it. They anticipate it could take about 6 months, but they are requesting a year, just depending on the results of their determination of the cause and what it's going to take to repair this particular mechanism. So we have, because this is an emergency repair and the storage will not cause any ground disturbance or no construction activities, we submitted a request to OCCL for a site plan approval for the temporary storage. The UH 2.2 meter repair and maintenance project began on May 9th with the installation of their safety fence. There was some delay in getting this project started. OMKM and the UH Gila facilities need to make sure that the contractor was in compliance with their contract and with their permit conditions. One of which was putting and designing a fence that would withstand 120 mile per hour winds. This was a condition placed by the by the MKMB. So the contractor did provide a design that was prepared and signed by a licensed engineer. Graffiti that was found in Mauna Kea Science Reserve and the Mauna Kea Ice Age Area Reserve. It was on April 28th when the rangers noted that there was graffiti on the ground in 2 summit parking lots and 2 portable toilets and on some rocks in the Natural Area Reserve. The Hawaii County Police and DLNR's Division of Conservation and Resource Enforcement were notified. A criminal investigation was initiated by DoCare, and on May 7th, DLNR issued a press release seeking the public's assistance with information related to this particular case. On May 9th, DLNR announced that with the assistance of members of the Native Hawaiian community, DoCare officers made contact with an individual who was issued a citation for violation of Natural Area Reserve administrative rules. This person will then be required to appear in district court. The environment assessment for the ingress, egress, and parking project at the Visitor Information Station, a draft of this EA was submitted to OEQC, Office of Environmental Quality Control, on March 8th, and it was posted on their environmental notice, giving the public 30 days in which to comment on this particular EA. The closing date for that EA was April 7th. We received 8 comments, and we are currently reviewing and responding to those comments. Visitor Information Station stargazing schedule, as many of you have read in the papers, has been revised. Mauna Kea Support Services is revised on a temporary basis. They're currently assessing and addressing staffing and overcrowding concerns at the Visitor Information Station during the stargazing period. Stargazing is now offered 4 nights a week, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, down from the original 7 days a week for stargazing. The Mauna Kea Speaker Series, the monthly Mauna Kea Speaker Series, which is a collaboration with EMILO and the University of Hawaii Hilo Physics and Astronomy Department, was launched in February. Since that first speaker, we've had presentations by J.B. Friday on rapid ohia death, Heather Stever on arthropod diversity in subalpine regions of Mauna Kea. And coming up on May 18th, there will be a presentation by a visiting Rutgers professor who did her thesis research on Lake Waiau in the late 1970s. So her thesis topic was diatoms and nutrients and productivity of Lake Waiau. So if you can make that, she just happens to be in the island, and she made contact with her office, so it might be a very interesting presentation. And on May 31st, Nathan Stevenson, who has been doing research for OMKM, will present his study on arthropod habitat modeling, and this will be followed in June by a presentation by Doug Simons on the Mauna Kea Scholars Program. Outreach activities. On March 2nd, OMKM participated in the Kona Kohala Chamber of Commerce Business Expo in Kona. We had a table showcasing some of OMKM's children's outreach activities and shared information and materials on Mauna Kea's resources and visiting Mauna Kea safety tips. Also in March, OMKM participated in the first Astro Bash in Kona, and this past Saturday, we participated in the 16th annual Astro Day at Prince Kuhio Mall. At both of these events, Mauna Kea observatories had hands-on science activities for kids and families, and OMKM participated by offering a variety of kids' activities, including coloring, cool bug displays, a microscope showing high magnification of an Argentine ant, and we also offer tattoos and trading card giveaways, as well as brochures and posters. And then finally, the Hawaii Historic Foundation will be recognizing OMKM, the Mauna Kea Management Board, and Kahuku Mauna and Pacific Consulting Services for developing and implementing systematic monitoring of the condition of the historic properties on Mauna Kea on UH's managed lands. The foundation cites our implementation of regular annual monitoring without a statutory requirement demonstrates OMKM's commitment to stewardship and best practices in cultural resource understanding, protection, and preservation. We will be recognized and presented with the Foundation's Preservation Commendation Award at their annual preservation ceremony on May 19th in Honolulu. Representing the MKMB will be Chair Greg Moores, and representing Kahuku Mauna will be Tom Chun. And that's it.